I love tea. I love the jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the jive and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. I love jive.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, thanks a lot. You have arrived, I should say, to the Humpday Coffee Show every Wednesday right here on queerpublicradio.com and gaytalkradio.org. Yeah, we're going to get on with the Humpday Coffee Show. We got lots of good stuff to share with you. Let's just listen up to the end of the song. I sip on my coffee a little bit.
Waiter, waiter, percolator. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the jive loves me. Coffee and tea and the jive I need. Yeah. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. More.
Here we are. It just happens to be November 24th, Hump Day, Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, of course. What else? You were thinking I was going to say something else? Not. Moi. Oh. It's so nice to be here with you folks. It really is. Today is an awesome day. I'm excited. 'Tis the season, right? And during the holiday season, I always like to remind people that, you know, all the time here on Queer Public Radio and Gay Talk Radio, we offer a free on-air advertising offer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all year round. It's if there's an event or you're involved in some type of organization or something which is LGBT related and has some kind of charitable component to it, then I welcome, I give you like a free, I ask you to keep it under 60 seconds. 30 seconds would be better, but definitely under 60 seconds. And what you can do is you can call the voicemail system, leave me a voicemail, and your voicemail will become your advertisement on the air. If you got an event that's LGBT related and it has some kind of charitable component to it, like if it's an event and it's free entry, or there's free prizes, or free food, or free drinks, or something is charitable about it. There's a component to it that here's a freebie. In just plain old regular news, and there's nothing plain and nothing regular about it, but it's not gay. I guess I should just say in the non-gay news, that Obama has pledges to defend South Korea.
Is an attack on South Korea an attack on the U.S.?
South Korea is our ally. It has been since the Korean War, and we strongly affirm our commitment to defend South Korea as part of that alliance.
Which I think is quite interesting. I also saw that in light of, in case you haven't heard, North Korea attacked South Korea. Death was involved. Yeah. So anyway, now the United States has planned another war games exercise over there again or something. Yeah. Just an interesting thing. You know, I watched Angels in America not too long ago, and there's a poignant part. I mean, the whole thing is awesome. The whole thing is awesome. But, you know, I just thought, you know, it's kind of hard sometimes to find stuff to lift our spirits, you know, the good news, the good things that we need to hear good things, you know. And I think so many people are so, like, down in the dumps about our progress in the community. And so I thought it might be interesting to hear a little clip, because we have to remember that this Angels in America was made back in 1985. So there's this one of the person that Al Pacino plays in it is named Roy Cohn, C-O-H-N. And you know, if you've actually seen Angels in America, in case you didn't know it, that's a real person. And he was instrumental in you know, the Jewish woman that he had convicted as a spy and actually put to death. Anyway, that was also that's true. That those parts of that story is true. It's not fiction. But there's one part that he says, and I think it when I heard it, you know, it's kind of abrasive, the comment itself, but I think it's also a sideways pat on the back for us in the future, hearing a voice from the past make this claim. Well, you just need to hear it, so let me play it.
Roy Cohn, you have had sex with men many, many times, Roy. And one of those men, or any number of them, has made you very sick. You have AIDS.
AIDS. You know, your problem, Henry, is that you are hung up on words, on labels, that you believe they mean what they seem to mean. AIDS, homosexual, gay, lesbian, you think these are names that tell you who someone sleeps with? They don't tell you that.
No?
No. Like all labels, they tell you one thing only. Where does an individual so identified fit in the food chain? In the pecking order. Not ideology or sexual taste, but something much simpler. Clout. Not who I or who me, but who will pick up the phone when I call, who owes me favors. This is what a label refers to. Now, as someone who does not understand this, homosexual is what I am because I have sex with men. But really, this is wrong. Homosexuals are not men who sleep with other men. Homosexuals are men who in 15 years of trying cannot pass a pissant anti-discrimination bill through city council. Homosexuals are men who know nobody and who nobody knows, who have zero clout. Does this sound like me, Henry?
No.
No. I have clout. Lots. I pick up this phone, I punch 15 numbers. You know who's on the other end? In under 5 minutes, Henry.
The president.
Better, Henry. His wife.
I'm impressed.
I don't want you to be impressed. I want you to understand. This is not sophistry, and this is not hypocrisy. This is reality. I have sex with men, but unlike nearly every other man of whom this is true, I bring the guy I'm screwing to the White House, and President Reagan smiles at us and shakes his hand. Because what I am is defined entirely by who I am. Roy Cohn is not a homosexual. Roy Cohn is a heterosexual man, Henry, with guys.
Okay, Roy.
And what is my diagnosis, Henry?
You have AIDS, Roy.
No. Henry, no. AIDS is what homosexuals have. I have liver cancer.
Well, whatever the you have, it's very serious. And I haven't got a damn thing for you. The NIH in Bethesda has a new drug called AZT, with a 2-year waiting list that not even I can get you onto. So pick up the phone, Roy, and dial the 15 numbers, and tell the First Lady that you need in on an experimental treatment for liver cancer. Because you can call it any damn thing you want, Roy, but what it boils down to is very bad news.
Well, homosexuals do not fit that definition any longer. And I think that we as a community deserve a pat on the back. Yeah, I know you can. I'm different that way. I could take something like that, which is like, you can turn it around, people. It's all in perception. You got to turn things around sometimes, and I think that's a very poignant point right there. Yeah, something that we can all be proud of. So what's the first one on the list here on GayBlogHeadlines.com in our hand-picked articles? Jim Carrey confronting David Letterman. You know, we have talked so much about the movie. This movie that Jim Carrey made, I Love You, Phillip Morris, which has, you know, we've been hearing about it for a couple years now. And, you know, it finally ended up being released overseas, but not here in the United States. And it's been off and on, and we've been hearing all these things about money issues and this and that. And I don't know, personally, I can't. I believe that it's the gay component of the movie, because the movie is more about the topic of gay. It's about a man, and you're going to hear Jim Carrey tell you right now, because I got to play this piece, because about 4 minutes into it, it's about an 11-minute piece, and then you can give you a little clip for the movie. You can link to it there from GayBlogHeadlines.com, and if you, I'm just going to play it for people that haven't heard it, because about 4 minutes into it, you know, Carrey kind of. You know, Carey's a wild, goofy guy anyway. You really need to see the video, so check it out on GayBlogHeadlines.com. It's the first article there under the handpicked articles. Here you go.
Wow, does that sound lovely?
Beautiful.
I'm so lonesome I can cry. Yeah.
DJ Thomas.
Fantastic.
Wow. Great, man.
I want to talk about this movie, which I saw this afternoon. What a film this is. What a performance. I don't think, I know for a fact, I've never seen you better in a movie than this one. You must be very pleased with the film.
I am very pleased. Yeah, it's you know, it's some risky material and some fun things, but it really is, there's a lot of talk about the gay thing, but it really is a story about an extraordinary
Based on a true story. Yeah.
Genius individual who's in solitary confinement for 144 years at this moment for nonviolent crimes. So, you know,
will that ever change? Is there a chance that he'll get out? Is this?
Well, I think anything is possible. You know? Yeah.
You didn't get to meet the guy then, did you, when you were doing
I didn't get to, actually, I was not allowed to go up to the prison at first. So Stephen McVicker, the gentleman who wrote the book, did a lot of interviewing for me, and I listened to the tapes and kind of like got my idea of what, I have this weird concept of people that we all start out with a speck of dust in the center of us, like an oyster or something. That's like a mistaken belief in ourselves, and we form a character or a personality around that.
Yeah.
The bigger the personality, the dirtier the dust.
But I
mean, like anybody seeking national fame of any kind.
Right.
Whew, dirty.
Corrupt.
Yeah, corrupt.
From the beginning.
Just completely off base about themselves. Just worthless in their own minds.
Now, but I don't even know where to begin with this, because the acting, you so commit to this that it's, again, the mark of good acting. You forget that you're watching a famous actor.
Yeah, we went kind of crazy when we first got the roles, and Ewan and I hit the gay clubs in Miami.
All right.
And that was an interesting little trip. It's like ringing the dinner bell, baby. Ringing the dinner bell.
He plays the guy that you meet in prison.
Yes, he plays my love interest, the man that I fall in love with, and whom Stephen Russell escaped for 3 or 4 times.
Right.
And all in very interesting and you know.
But now your character, your portrayal, very likable guy.
I couldn't figure out how to feel about him when I read the script. I was like, from one page I hated him, one page I loved him. But the one thing that you always have to give to him is that he's completely tenacious. He's inexhaustible when it comes to love.
Yeah.
You know, he needs that.
And
that's where all the extraordinary behavior.
Do you know from people who actually met the guy that he was likable, like yourself? Was that portrayal?
Well, you can hear it. I mean, you can hear it in the tapes. You can kind of check his demeanor. He's never unhappy no matter what. I mean, he's in solitary confinement 23 hours a day, and you can't get him to say, you know, that this is a negative thing.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you can't get him to go to that place of darkness and self-loathing.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. And I want the government to hire him to do something. Some of the dirty work.
And in terms of when gay people, the gay community sees this film, they must. How do they feel about it?
I think it's been really well received so far. I think it's been, you know, people have really loved it and embraces everybody. And it's not just about that. It's about this extraordinary con man.
Right.
Everybody loves a good con man story. So I think it's great. And you know, things stick with you, too, when you play these roles. You know, like you know, every role, you know, has a little shadow that follows you around afterwards, you know, or a little trick or a piece of business that you learn from it.
Right. And what do you take from this role?
Well, as an example, let me take a moment and undress you with my eyes. Paul, do you have some music? Yeah. Gaga. Gaga.
What do I do? I just...
You there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a mole or a freckle?
I don't know.
I'd get that looked at.
Yeah.
I'd get that looked at.
That was more than a little creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in terms of a leading man, heterosexual, playing a homosexual, do homosexuals say, well, that should have been a homosexual? Or do you worry about your image as a heterosexual leading man playing a homosexual?
Boy, we haven't grown at all, have we?
No.
We haven't grown at all.
No, I don't think we have.
We're still children in the schoolyard. I mean, honestly. I mean, no offense, Dave, for God's sakes. Have you ever seen a gay man?
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are there gay people in Indiana?
Yes, well, yeah.
Is it okay to be gay there?
Yes,
what I'm
it's
asking.
fine. Yes, it's okay.
Not a policy against
I
gay
have no
people there or
policy.
here.
No, I have no policy at all. I'm just asking.
All right.
What seems like a fairly routine question.
Yeah. Well, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever people want to do, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm fine. That's good. Yeah.
I don't think they knew what they were getting into.
Yeah, no. Well, that would make four of us. Now, let's show them a clip. This is a fine film, and it's open in other parts of the world, right?
Yes, it is.
It's already in Europe and Japan.
You know, that's the weirdest thing about this release. It's like all of Europe has seen this. They're all, you know, crazy about it.
Yeah, and it's getting very well received. Yeah. You do a tremendous job. What are we going to see in the scene here, Jim? Do you know?
Oh, what's in the scene?
Well, yeah, what are you going to see?
I don't know. I don't know. I was going to stay over here.
Yeah, all right. We'll roll it and then we'll chat about it afterwards.
Now, I had a job, but it was nowhere near good enough for living as high on the gay hog as I wanted to.
US 1, right?
Finest in the land.
And for a guy without a college education, my options were limited.
Oh, I can't believe I slipped on cooking oil.
So I had no choice. I became a con man.
You check.
There you go. That's it. I love you, Phillip Morris. Have you had your thyroid checked?
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to look like a movie star out here.
Yeah, you are.
I've blown it again.
Well, I want to say one more thing. You are a movie star and a fine actor, and this, I think, is the best work of your career.
I want to be a singer, though.
Singer?
Yeah,
well, that's interesting. Everybody wants to be something else.
Yeah.
And you had planned to sing a little something for us tonight. Well, you know, tonight's a bad night because B.J. Thomas is here.
Sucked up all the time.
Yeah, no, he didn't suck up all the time. It's just that he set the bar sort of high.
Oh, of course.
Suck up all the time. No, that's not the problem.
It's so inappropriate.
Yeah,
I
no.
have said it. When it came out of my mouth, I wanted to grab it.
Yeah, but
it was out and it was gone.
So I have to ask you again, even with B.J. Thomas here tonight, do you feel like singing?
Yeah, I'd love to sing.
All right.
Maybe just a little something.
All right, good luck. Well, I don't see you later. Thank you very much. It's Jim Carey over there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well,
thank you, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to... I've been trying to learn how to sing because everybody needs to be singing. There's so much singing going on in the movies and stuff like that. You got to be ready because it's a sensation.
You got to be ready. You got to be ready.
I say. So, but I want songs that are hard. A song that is hard that will challenge me, okay? So once I learn it and once I sing it and I get it down, then I can call myself a singer. Do you know anything like that? Say after me. I don't know what to say, I'll say it anyway. Today's another day to find you shying away. I'll be coming for your love, okay? Take on me. Take me.
Fantastic. Jim Carey, ladies and gentlemen, the moose.
You got to check that one out. But I like the part, you know, where he kind of, well, they don't have gays in Indiana there, Dave. You kind of put Dave on the spot. Dave got kind of defensive. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. You know, we're already hearing stuff about the 2012 presidential ad, but in a twist of events, you know, Iowa is where it all starts there, you know. Fred Karger, a gentleman who just happens to be a gay Republican, has aired the first 2012 presidential ad in Iowa.
In 2008, Iowans launched Barack Obama to the presidency of the United States.
Thank you, Iowa.
And we just witnessed another dramatic change in Des Moines and in Washington.
It's clear tonight who the winners really are.
Here we go again.
When they say, yes, we can, we say, oh, no, you don't.
The party is over.
I'm concerned that the partisan rancor is only going to continue and get in the way of our country's progress. I learned from my mentor, Ronald Reagan, the importance of getting along. And I've spent a lifetime working with and supporting Republicans and Democrats. A value that has only been reinforced in my fight for civil rights.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I'm Fred Karger. I'm an independent Republican. I'm Fred Karger, and I'm in Iowa because I'm seriously considering running for president in 2012. Fred Karger. Welcome to Iowa. Thank you very much. Very nice to meet you. But before I run for president, I need your help.
Hi, Fred. How are you doing? Nice to see you.
I'm testing the waters in Iowa to see if I can raise some funds for my friends. Fred Karger, independent Republican. Good so much. That will help determine the next step. Please go to fredkarger.com. Check out the website.
It's nice meeting you.
Hey, nice meeting you. Sign up and make a contribution today. Thanks, Iowa.
I don't know about your ears, but that just sounds so strange to my ears hearing a gay man evoke the name Ronald Reagan. I'm sorry I couldn't help but say that. I just don't know about that. Well, I just thought I'd share it with you. Interesting. Oh, goodness gracious. You know, I'm a little upset about this one, this next article here, because, you know, all this stuff we have going on with all the bullying and the bully sides and et cetera. And up in Illinois, in fact, in St. Charles, Illinois, there was a school there that was having a Ally Week event. I believe it was last week. I might have the date wrong. Anyway, it appears that 3 students came to school that day wearing black T-shirts that on the front had a little emblem that said "Straight Pride." Of course, they're doing this during a Ally Week for, you know, gay event kind of thing. Anyway, but that's not the big deal. When I saw it, that's all I saw was the front of the T-shirt. I was thinking, well, why is that offensive? And then I read that on the back of the T-shirt, it has a Bible verse. The famous Leviticus 20:13, if man lay with a man as those who lay with a woman, both of them are committed an abomination and shall surely be put to death. So they ended up in the building administrator's office. The student, the dean's office, to talk to them, discuss the matter with them, and then sent them back to class. Didn't say anything about asking them to change shirts, or it just basically let them get away with it and told them not to do it again. Yeah, if you happen to be in the St. Charles, Illinois area, there's a Facebook site launched for this, and on December 13th, they're planning on attending a school board meeting to protest this decision. In the previous week, Peter LaBarbera, you know, craziness, Mr. Craziness. I love the title of this. Normally, I do not approve of name calling, but in this particular case, you know, it really, I gotta admit, it doesn't bother me too much. So when I saw the title, homophobic moron Peter LaBarbera speaks out on TSA's same-gender pat-downs. Yes, this gentleman, he is head of the group Americans for Truth About Homosexuality. He's actually, and that group is actually listed as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, yeah, SPLC, who recently released a new report, which we'll talk about a little bit here in a minute. But this gentleman, Peter LaBarbera, Mr. Americans for Truth Homosexuality, is upset about the fact that he might have a homosexual TSA agent give him his pat down. Or that a lesbian one might pat down a woman. Because, you know, the Homeland Secretary made a big point of going out of her way to stress that there won't be any mixed gender pat downs. They'll all be same gender pat downs. Of course, this gentleman has to, but what about the homosexual ones? So this guy's like, whether, you know, I think he sees the homosexual behind every door. You know, he's one of those. Yeah. I think thou dost protest too loudly. Yeah, one of those. Hey, you know, this, more about the story here. This is kind of an update story about in Texas, you know, where we had the 2 high schoolers, teenagers, blah, 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 that one of them killed the other one, and he claiming because of sexual advances, and then he partially burned the body. Yeah, a little more to the story. Evidently, he agreed to help the police go out and look for the body in a field. What happened, evidently, when the police were investigating, because they found this gentleman took the truck of the guy he killed, and he also threw the backpack and the guy's shoes in a dumpster in a local store pretty close to the field where the body was. And when the police were checking that out, the vehicle was left abandoned there in the parking lot, and they were checking out the area and blah, 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 you know, and that's why they found the stuff in the dumpster, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they saw the young man hanging out around the area, and they went to question him, and he gave them false information about his identity, and they became suspicious when they discovered that, and they arrested him, and then evidently somehow, some way, he ended up assisting them, the young man, ended up assisting them in the search. But while they were going over a fence, he tried to grab one of the deputies, or officers, I should say, weapons, and everything turned from that point. So far, he's been charged with failure to identify, and this is the same one, remember, that the victim's uncle said he wasn't gay. So a little bit more coming out about the story. I was shocked to see in this next article where, yes, I was, a Texas school board has adopted an LGBT inclusive anti-bullying policy. The Texas school board? This is the one we were just hearing about not too long ago, about the books they were restricting from the school libraries, etc., etc., etc. How they were trying to rewrite history, and etc., etc., etc. You know. So, you know, I think we're going to hear more of these kind of things because of the fact that, you know, the government has now stepped up to the plate and said, hey, this is part of that Article 9 thing, folks, you know. LGBT community members are included in those protections. In other words, there's a federal law that says you have to. I am going to play you one little clip here because this is one of my pet peeve kind of topics, is the separation of church and state. And this last week was the anniversary, a 47-year anniversary of when John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK, was shot and murdered. And they had a little clip over here on David Badash's site, you know, the New Civil Rights Movement. He's a great guy. David is a wonderful activist, very, very busy man. He had a little tidbit of the speech that he made, JFK made, on the separation of church and state.
I believe in an America where the separation of church and state is absolute, where no Catholic prelate would tell the president, should he be Catholic, how to act, and no Protestant minister would tell his parishioners for whom to vote, where no church or church school is granted any public funds or political preference, and where no man is denied public office merely because his religion differs from the president who might appoint him or the people who might elect him. I believe in an America that is officially neither Catholic, Protestant, nor Jewish, where no public official either requests or accepts instructions on public policy from the Pope, the National Council of Churches, or any other ecclesiastical source, where no religious body seeks to impose its will, directly or indirectly, upon the general populace or the public acts of its officials, and where religious liberty is so indivisible that an act against one church is treated as an act against all.
Awesome words. Awesome words. Out of New Jersey this last week, that's two. Count them, 1, 2. Dual New Jersey anti-bullying bills passed almost unanimously. Yeah. Pretty awesome stuff. The group responsible, the Garden State Equality, as reported that the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights, a bill they have been working on for over a year, even before the tragic death of Tyler Clementi, has passed the Senate 30-0 and the House 72-1, and is on its way to the governor's desk. Cool. I guess we'll see what happens. It's the most sweeping anti-bullying legislation in America. Just a quick little mention, the San Francisco LGBT Center is receiving a $100,000 grant from AT&T. Florida, Orange County in Florida has approved anti-discrimination rules for gays. Yeah, they are finally joined the ranks of most other urban areas in Florida. They voted 6-1 to expand anti-discrimination protections for gay people in the private sector. Coolness. About time. There's an interesting little article. The Brooklyn churches, first ladies, yeah, they're leading an anti-HIV campaign. They got a beautiful picture of it's evidently a preacher's wife. They're saying those that attend the church in some of these churches that someone would discuss in certain cases the power of the preacher's wives could be comparable to the power of the first lady of the president of the United States in certain situations. So they're making these fans, these little where you can fan your face, a little circular disc with a little lollipop stick looking thing on it, and they're putting the pictures of the first ladies of the churches on them, and it's a campaign, to help fight HIV/AIDS. I think that's pretty cool. One of the first ladies said that she hopes the campaign will help battle the stigma around HIV infection, which disproportionately affects people of color. She states the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report said one black person out of every 22 in the United States will be diagnosed with HIV in their lifetime. She hopes that their fans will be a wake-up call. We heard in the news not too long ago that how the court told the United States government that they had to reinstate the military nurse, Witt, I believe was her name, Major Witt. And she had 19 years. With 19 years, that means she was like 2 years, I believe, shy of retirement. So she has spent 19 years of her life, and getting ready to retire, and they toss her. And interesting enough, we heard in recent news, that the Pentagon has a report ready, which shocked. I had to admit I was wrong on that. I said that there probably wouldn't even be a report ready by December 1st, and here they had it ready early. So I take my words back. I eat my words. I apologize, and I guess that means I got to play the "I am so sorry" clip, and because I am.
I'm sorry, so sorry. Please accept my apology. I was too blind to see. Sorry.
Yes, so I profusely apologize. But after all, I'm human. I make mistakes. So anyway, so after all that, right, we hear that they're not enforcing. Since this whole quandary over don't ask, don't tell has been going on, that they haven't enforced, that there has not been one single don't ask, don't tell discharge. They were proudly announcing that. Now, it comes to us in the news yesterday that the United States Department of Justice has announced that they will seek an appeal to this decision to reinstate Major Margaret Witt. They're going to appeal it. Enough said. Up in Canada, Prince Edward Island, I was kind of surprised. Not too long ago, we were hearing how it was such a how they loved gays up there in Prince Edward Island. I saw their community outreach visitors convention, whatever you want to call them, trying to get people to come visit Prince Edward Islands. And now a suspected gay hate crime has prompted a meeting in the community. Just thought I'd mention that. Okay, here we go down. There's a couple little articles here I got now specifically from the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center. They've been in existence since 1971 and kind of tracking hate in America. And they're lawyers and they help people out. They actually go and represent people in legal cases and stuff sometimes. But for a while now, they've been kind of keeping track of hate groups. and departmentalizing them, of course, and one of the groups that they have in its own little category, department drawer, whatever, flyer, flag, anti-gay hate groups. And they have a little article where they talk about, there's 18 basically groups, and 13 of those groups are classified now. Currently, they're fixing to release 5. There was 8. They're adding 5 more. Now there's going to be 13 that are actually classified as anti-gay hate groups in the United States. I'll give you those in a little bit. But there's 18 total groups. In other words, 5 of them aren't classified as hate groups, but they're 18 total groups that actually are kind of like the backbone of the whole anti-gay movement. But there's another article that I want to touch on first here. It's the one about the anti-gay hate crimes doing the math, which has some staggering statistics. And I'm not going to mention all of them because it's like a whole lot of numbers, and it's probably just going to be like phew right over your head because you've got to read it. But some of the stuff which is staggering and kind of stands out, that they said that they totaled the crimes for 14 years in each of their categories and calculated percentages. They says number one, out of those 14 years, there was 88,463 hate crimes. And out of those 88,463, 15,351 were anti-homosexual hate crimes. 17.4%. Other groups that they had figures for included blacks, Muslims, Latinos, and whites. Interesting enough, when they start doing all the number crunching, etc., gays are almost 42 times more likely than whites to be a victim of a hate crime. Yeah. 42 times. Almost 14 times for Latinos. Almost 5 times more than Muslims. 3 times more than blacks. 2.5 times more than Jews. Yeah, so we're number one. Aren't we lucky? Anyway, interesting article there. Anti-gay hate crimes doing the math. We have to do a little It Gets Better section here, and this is from the wonderful people. I was shocked. I was pleased. Made my eyes well up. Oh my goodness, this was so awesome. From the people that work for the awesome company we all know as Pixar. The employees of Pixar got a little message for us. A whole lot of them.
Hi, my name is Darla, and I'm a producer here at Pixar Animation Studios. Pixar is made up of just a crazy combination of people. There's mad scientists and dancers and animators and just all kinds of unique individuals. And most of those unique individuals weren't the most popular in high school and junior high. They just weren't. Just the way it works. Thank goodness we hung around and found each other and created this familial tribe of people that's created this unprecedented team that makes movie magic. And so because of that, because of where we all came from, we wanted to share a message of hope with all of you.
I knew at a young age that I was very different. I started out as sort of a tomboy, and I liked to play with the boys, and I liked to play with boy things.
I walked wrong, I talked wrong, I wasn't interested in the right things. I love show tunes.
I brought my sister's doll to show and tell.
I remember just feeling not sure how to do it.
I was able to kind of compartmentalize being gay.
I always felt like if I don't want this hard enough, maybe it'll go away.
It was sort of all I could do just to keep it under wraps, keep it hidden.
One day I was at the dinner table and I was kind of just joking and I made this gesture and my brother said, dude, that's really gay. And I was like, no, it's not. And then my parents were like, yeah, it's kind of gay.
I really was faced with this idea that I was really going to be in trouble.
I felt like if I was a lesbian, my father wouldn't love me anymore.
So I had a choice to make. Would I be true to myself, or would I live a life of lies?
I couldn't be myself and show as much of myself as I could.
there's a sense of invisibility when you're gay because you don't want to step out. You don't want to show too much. Not everybody is Kurt on Glee.
All of my friends from my Catholic elementary school got to go to an all-girls Catholic high school. But my mother wouldn't let me go. She wanted me to go to a public school so that I'd be around boys.
The name of the game, I guess, was to fit in.
So I acted tough and I put on a show.
Every time I would go on the field or on the court, I always felt ostracized from the rest of the team.
All of the people in the stands were like, dyke and lesbo and get off the field.
I got harassed verbally and physically.
They'd call me faggot and push me around.
It escalated to be pretty violent, not only inside the campus of the school, but outside.
I was completely scared and confused.
I thought that being gay meant being alone and being isolated and constantly living in fear.
It got to a point where I was just so scared of everything and of everyone that I wouldn't actually talk to anyone.
And that was a very, very terrifying and just really, really sad feeling. I didn't want to be alone.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to make sense out of the world.
I felt full of self-hatred.
I started getting these thoughts that if I'm not around, no one would really miss me, no one would really care.
Someone interrupted me from jumping off the roof of my dorm. I am so grateful to that person today because things got so much better and I wouldn't have known it if they hadn't stopped me.
I would have missed so much of my life.
I would have missed an entire future that was genuine. I would have missed an authentic way of living.
And making your own friends for the first time.
Making art, discovering new music.
Going to birthday parties with my daughter's friends.
A dance group, which was super cool. I got to travel with them.
Walking into a gay bar and feeling like you really belonged.
I would have missed great friends, great relationships.
The most amazing experiences that you can have with a friend.
I would have missed meeting Colin, my amazing cube mate.
I would have missed my nieces being born, who are the cutest things ever.
Finding my dream job, finding my dream city, finding my dream partner.
The first time I ever got to dance with my boyfriend in public.
Meeting the love of my life.
Meeting my wife.
Getting to experience what that kind of relationship is like.
I don't think I'd be as close to my family now. I wouldn't have, seen my mother come around.
When my mom and I talked about it, I felt this huge sense of relief.
You feel it. You're not just saying it inside your head. You're actually feeling it right here. That blew me away.
Coming out was just like the beginning.
My life was the kind of life I didn't even know was an option.
I finally started thinking about what being gay was going to be for me.
I just started by realizing that I had to love myself first.
And it took a lot. I think it just took time.
I found a new me, and it was the right me this time.
I started to find that I wasn't alone, and my situation was not that different.
I started to meet people who gave me so much acceptance and love.
People that I would have completely missed out on had it not been for the fact that I was gay.
I got to get married to the love of my life.
We just made 6 years last week, and we have a cat, and we have a lovely little one-bedroom place that is ours, and I get to walk up those 9 steps and open the door and know that he's home, and I get to kiss him and hug him when I walk in the door, and that brings me so much joy.
It's been one of the biggest blessings of my life. I've met such wonderful people. It's made me such a stronger person to be gay, and there's nothing I would do to change that now.
Don't let anyone tell you you're less than zero just because you're gay.
There are lots of people out here who care about you and want to see you live.
So please stay strong and stay in it. It gets better.
Tell yourself over and over again that you're okay, because you are.
And know that no matter how hard things can seem, that you're connected to everybody else going through that same thing.
You will find your place, and it will get better. I promise.
I can definitely tell you, and I didn't believe it. I didn't think it would ever get better. But it really, really does get better.
Focus on the future. Don't focus on the problems that you're going through right now. Focus on the greatness of your life that it's going to become.
Find someone, anyone that you can confide in, that you think will support you and help you and love you unconditionally.
And if that person is not helpful, then drop them immediately and go to another person.
Know that somewhere out there you can make a connection with someone else who feels just like you do, or similar to how you do, and wants you around, and wants to give you a big hug and tell you that everything's all right and that it does get better.
If I could just come through the screen right now and just give you a big hug and tell you it gets better, I would totally do that.
I promise you that it not only gets better, but it's so much more than you could possibly imagine.
It is so beautiful, the things that life has waiting for you.
It will get better.
It gets better. It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets really better.
Everything gets better.
It gets better. It gets great.
Awesomeness. Don't forget, folks, thetrevorproject.org. Thetrevorproject.org on the internet, or 866-4, the number 4, and then the letter U, Trevor is their phone number. Yeah, 866-4U-Trevor, or 866-488-7386. Yep, that's the 24/7 hotline there at the Trevor Project. Oh my goodness, that It Gets Better project is awesome. Thanks, Dan Savage, for starting that. Yep, good thing. Good thing. How about those folks from Pixar, huh? Wow.
Hello, darling. Nice to see you.
Yeah, man, I tell you, they were awesome. Did I play the wrong clip there or what? Oh, we're having fun now. Well, I don't know if you are, but I am. We heard in the last week a lot of news about the Miss Palin's little daughters saying some really nasty homophobic comments on, was it Twitter? I believe it was Twitter. And then, we had a couple of us had a little tit for tat on Twitter about it because, the apology came out. An apology came out afterwards, a couple days later, but it was Bristol. Bristol was apologizing for both of them. So we had this little tit for tat going on Twitter going, I bet it was the rock, paper, scissors contest, Okay, I won. You got to apologize for us. I don't know. I thought it was funny. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about the Palin family. 3 big developments in AIDS came out in the previous week. Yeah, 3 really huge developments. One, they're discovering that this medication has actually been on the market for a couple years. What is it called? Truvada? Yeah, Truvada. And that they actually did a study saying if people took a regular regimen of this pill, that it substantially reduced their chances of getting infected with HIV. That they actually did a study in a high-risk group, and they're saying, they had a placebo group and all this kind of stuff. And they're saying of the group that took the medicine regularly, like they were instructed to, because they said many of them didn't, of the ones that did, as evidently nobody followed the regimen to the letter, from the way the report sounds. Because it basically says the ones that were closest to it, following the regimen, reduced their risk by 92%. That's pretty amazing. So that they're doing more studies on it. And a United Nations report said that new cases of HIV had dropped nearly 20% over the last decade worldwide. You know, I'm sorry, people living with HIV now, not new cases. So the numbers dropping. I don't know if that's there's two ways we could take that, isn't there? Yeah, I know. I laugh at the weirdest times, don't I? That wasn't funny. Like I said, gay and bisexual men still nearly half of the more than 1 million Americans living with HIV. Worldwide, more than 7,000 new infections occur each day. That's a lot of infections. 7,000 worldwide each day. New infections. Goodness gracious. What else do we got here? This was a weird story. In Canada, there's this legal thing going on right now. This woman got drunk, evidently plastered, was placed in a jail cell, and evidently there was this other woman in the jail cell. And these two women, while in the holding cell or jail cell or whatever, I'm thinking it was a holding cell, started having sex. Interesting, and another little tidbit to the story, was the fact that there was, four Royal Canadian Mounted Police officers that were watching from closed-circuit TV. Yeah, four of them. 3 employees of the city of Kamloops, and these 4 RCMPs, so 7 total, were watching the encounter over closed-circuit TV cameras. Well, now it turns out that one of the women may have been HIV positive, and now the second woman is filing a lawsuit seeking damages because of the people at the jailhouse didn't protect her. Doesn't say whether she came out positive or not. Just, I guess, the trauma that she's now having to endure because of it, because she's got to wait to see how the blood tests come out for the next 6 months or whatever. Interesting little story. The article kind of says, hey, you got drunk and you had jail sex and that's your own fault. You shouldn't have been drunk. You shouldn't have had sex and blah, blah, blah. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey. Remember, folks, we are one human family on the face of this globe. All we can do is try to love one another and make it a better place for everyone. I wish you all the best. To you and yours. Try to love your fellow human family members. Bye-bye for now.
I love you, and you, and you. Oh, and you too. And don't forget him. I love her, and him, and her, and him, and him, and her. I love you all.
Adios. Have a nice trip. Bon voyage. Farewell to thee. That's all, folks.
We'll leave the light on for you.